Right, right. Hope you are back. Hope you are back. Yeah, I was saying that if you are watching this on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and you like, you share, and also that way we'll be helping each other in one way or another. So, like we continue. I see Winnie has come, has logged in. We continue. This one, I like you to be in caps. So for inventory also, inventory falls under balance sheet and it's an asset also. And this one we just call it inventory. There is no other way. For our domestic suppliers, so our domestic suppliers, I think these one are suppliers are payables. So this one will be balance sheet, and this one will be liability, and this one will be, let me say, accounts payable because they are suppliers, accounts payable, and also the foreign suppliers, even the foreign suppliers. I can just do this, Control C, Control V. And supply advances. Supply advances, actually, this one will fall under the balance sheet also, tab. But it will be an asset because there are advances, supply advances, so it will be an asset, tab. And this one will be other receivables. Let me see how I'm writing receivables. Other receivables, isn't it? Clients. So our clients are our accounts receivables because so it will be balance sheet tab, it will be asset tab, and this one will be now the account receivables, isn't it? Also, this one will be balance sheet tab, asset tab, account receivables, isn't it? Even export client, export. Let me see. No, we have already done the export client. This one is other receivables, and this one is account receivable. So yes, we have already done. So our payroll. Our payroll, this one is an other liability. So it will be balance sheet, liability, and this one will call it other liabilities. Other liabilities, actually, this is the first time I'm doing the liabilities, other liabilities. So this here is just spacing, right? Unused paid, unused paid, this one also, unused paid leave balances. So actually, this one will be balance sheet, isn't it? And this one is 4201. Unused paid, this one will be liability. And so this one will be, I think it will be other liabilities also. It's not getting that. Also other liabilities and employees. So you can always check. You can always check. So I told you that these are the balances for closing balance, and these two are for the turnover. As I told you earlier, you can do this. You can come under view. Sorry, my Zoom is coming there. Let me take this one down. So you can come here under view. Then you come to split. And so the split, I want it to be here so that I can know how I'm doing this thing. The first one there. And this one, I don't want it. So I can just take it there down, isn't it? So the split is there actually. So when I go up, there's no problem. Where was I? You can see these employees here. You can see their closing balance is on the credit side. Actually, on this credit side, there are revenues and liabilities and revenues. And on the credit side, there are the revenues and the assets. So this one, you can see it's on the credit side. So this one will be also balance sheet, trace tab. And this one will be liability, isn't it? Liability, trace tab. And how is my, let me remove the split because it's coming. I don't, I think it's affecting how you're seeing. So, and I also, it will be other liabilities. Press enter. So other employee related, other employee related, I can look at the balance, it's on the debit side. So we can do balance sheet tab, and it will be an asset because it's on the debit side, and it will be other receivables, enter. So our income tax balance, our income tax balance, it was paid off. Actually, it will not affect our question, but just to know income tax balance. Income tax balance, actually, it will fall under, I think, it will fall under balance sheet also. Balance sheet tab, and it will be a liability tab, and it will be other liabilities also, other liabilities, enter. Then personal income tax, also you can see it on the credit side. So it's the same thing, actually, the same thing. Control C, then I do Control V, isn't it? And then VAT on purchases. Remember, VAT on purchases, you can always confirm from here. If it's on the debit side, it's an asset or an expense, and if it's on the credit side, it's a liability or a revenue. But you can see this one is on the debit side. Actually, VAT on purchases, it's an asset because you will recover. You will recover. Control C, then Control V, isn't it? And so the VAT on sales, this one will be other liabilities because actually you will incur payment or if you are selling on VAT on sales, Control V, and VAT reimbursement. Right, this one will be receivables because you are being reimbursed. You can check it on the debit side also. So this one will be other receivables, Control V, and other balances with government agencies. You can see it on the credit side. So this one it will be other. As simple as that, it will be other liabilities also. It will be other liabilities. Actually, I have told you can use the Control V. Also, the social securities, as you can see, they are on the credit side, Control V. Also, health insurance, Control V. And our guarantors are on the positive side, so that one will be other receivables because we have to receive this one. So I'll take they are onto the balance sheet, Control C, and other receivables, Control V, isn't it? And this one, shareholders balances. This one will be a balance sheet item, and it will be a liability, and it will be related party, something to do with related party. Sorry, related parties. Let me just write these parties properly. Related parties. Control enter. You can see also it's on the credit side. That's why it's a liability. So for our insurance also is here. So it's just the same thing, but it will be other liabilities, isn't it? Because we are looking at the Control V, and our deferred tax asset. Actually, this one will be balance sheet, and it will be an asset. And this one we just call it deferred. Let me see the spelling. Deferred tax asset. This one will just remain the same. Control enter. Then we go to other data here. This one will be balance sheet. It will be asset, and it will be other. I think other receivables also. Like Control C. Like how I do here. I do Control. Sorry. Control C. Control C. Control V, isn't it? Because there are other data. I think we're almost done with this. Oh, sorry, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more because a little bit big one. So we come to other creditors. So other creditors is the opposite of that, isn't it? The other liabilities because there are other. Then I do Control V. Cash on hand, this one is an asset, and it just remains cash, isn't it? So balance sheet, asset, Then we just call it cash. Tab, cash in bank also is the same thing. So I can just come and I copy this, Control C, Control V. Then material on expenses. So this one will come under shift income statement, isn't it? And this one is an expense. And this one is material expenses. Material expenses. Just name it that way. And then also this one will be income statement, and it will be also an expense. And this one we just call it hired services. Hired services. Enter. So depreciation also will be income statement, isn't it? Yes, income statement. Income statement. And this one is an expense. And we can call it depreciation. And let me just combine them, and amortization. Depreciation and amortization, Control Enter. Then so we are going to amortization, Control C. I've just copied the same thing here, Control V, because it's amortization. And payroll expenses. This one, first of all, it's so let me just finish and count. Income statement, and this one will be expense. And so our payroll expense, I think we'll just do it as a payroll expense. Shift payroll expense. Yes, you can do expenses because I don't want to confuse. So unused paid leave is expenses, social security is expenses, also it's payroll expenses. So I'll just do Control C, then I do Control V, then I also do Control V. And so we are to taxes and other charges. So these taxes and other charges, because they have been combined with other charges, so I'll just income statement. So these one are expenses. I'll just let me call them other expenses because they are combined with others. I don't want to call it only tax, isn't it? Then also we have other expenses actually, so it will be the same thing. It will be the same thing. I do this way. I do Control C. I do I do this way, Control C, then I do Control V, and then asset under construction. This one you can see when it's in the turnover, so this one will come under balance sheet. I think so, balance sheet tab, and this one is an asset tab, and this one is PPE, yeah. And our interest expense, this one is income statement, isn't it? Tab. Sorry, I want them to rhyme. Interest expense tab, and this one is expense tab, and this one is finance cost. Finance cost. Also, expenses on exchange is also income. It's also finance cost actually. It's also finance cost. Expenses for exchange rate effects. Actually, it's also finance cost. Control C. Also, other finances cost. Control V. It's also the same thing. Control V. And what else? Prepaid expenses. So prepaid expenses. Actually, you see these prepaid expenses will come in the balance sheet, isn't it? So, and it will be assets because they are prepaid. And we call them other receivables, as we have been doing, other receivables. Okay, service revenue will come under income statement, and this one is revenue. And this one is we call it sales revenue, isn't it? Sales revenue revenue tab. PPE sales this PPE sales this PPE sales, you can see from the income statement, actually, as we said here, if liabilities and assets and revenue, actually you can confirm from here. Revenue is always on the credit side, and also it's here. It's also here, isn't it? So on the credit side. But you see, these they are saying PPE sales revenue. They are on the debit side. How? So this one is also will come under income statement. And actually, this one is an expense because it's on the debit side. This one is an expense, and this one we call it other expenses. So other income, it's also under income statement. This one is income. Let me write properly. Income, isn't it? And it will just remain other income. It will just remain other income, and I think other income. And this one, income from exchange, this one will be income statement. It will be income. And this one will be finance income, not finance cost. Finance income, tab. And also this one will be income statement, tab. Sorry, I want them to rhyme. Income statement, tab. This one will be, let me copy these above. This one will be Control C, Control V, Control V. And this one also will be finance income, Control C, Control V. So we've already named them. We've already established their names, control home to back home. So for net turnover here, it will be equals our debit minus our credit. Control enter. Then I double click, it goes down. For our closing balance, it will be equals our debit minus our credit. Control enter. Then I double click to go down, isn't it? This is just the spelling. The wideness. Actually, I want it a little bit smaller. So a little bit smaller. So I'll come to prepare the statement of the income statement. Yes, the statement of profit and loss for the year. Actually, the year we were told something of 2019, but I'll not go much to the detail because we are running out of time. So I'll start with sales revenue. Actually, and you have to remember that actually, even if you add a space where there's no space, the thing will not work, isn't it? We also have other income. Other income. I thought I was writing them that way. Other income. Then after other income, control both, we have total income, isn't it? So after total income, what do you have? So we are going like you have to go back and see. So we are under the income statement. That's why we are naming this. That's why we are naming this. So you can just take the things that were there. Like we have these three here. These three here. Control C. The three actually. The three. Let me go back. Was up control home. Control faster. Then these are the expenses, control V. Also, I think we had the payroll expenses, then other expenses. I think there's nothing else. So, like, you can just, it was almost down, control down arrow, then you come back. So you see we have payroll expenses and other expenses, and there is nothing else there. So I'll just take somewhere the two. You don't have to take the whole thing, you just take the two, control C. That's why I told you I wanted them to be merging. Control home. Then I just come left to be a little bit faster. Control V, isn't it? I think I've exhausted the control bolt. Shift total expenses. I think I've exhausted the total expenses. Then I'll come to operating profit. Operating profit. Then I'll come to I had forgotten the finance income, but it's good. The finance income and the finance cost. So I just come here, then I press control down arrow to move down. So here's the finance income, and they are not together. They are not together. I like to pick them together. So I can just do this way. Control C. I put here Control V. Then I select the two. Control C. Then I do Control Home to jump home. Then I come left here. I put them Control V, isn't it? And I think there's nothing else, so I'll just come here above. Just come here above. Then I do Control down to come down. And I remove what I added, the cost here. I remove the cost, isn't it? Then I now Control Home, go back up, and I come here. Actually, this one I'll do it. This one here, Control Bolt, Merge and Center. Actually, you have to write the year, the what, or Alt HMC to merge and center on the keyboard. So here I'll space out so that I know where my there. Okay, and I do Alt HBN to remove the borders, any borders there. So this one here, it will be equals this one, Shift plus this one, Control Enter, and this one here, it will be equals the sum tab. So it will be the sum from material expenses up to other expenses. Control Enter, Control Dot. I forgot to do this Control Dot. And from here, actually, I'll get profit before tax. So the tax we combined, but in this question, we've not been told about the tax. So I'll do PBT, Control Enter, Control Bolt, isn't it? So our operating expense control bolt, it will be equal to equals total income here, total income minus our total expenses, Control Enter, and our PBT, it will be equals our operating profit plus our finance income minus our finance cost. Isn't it? Control Enter, Control Bolt, Control Bolt. So now I'll come here. I'll go to equals, then I do Sumif, but I'm not using Sumif. Now I'll be using Sumifs. Sumifs, maybe when the criteria are many, I press that way, isn't it? They're asking me the sum range. So the sum range, I told you for the income statement, we'll be using net turnover. So I take this one up here. I press Control Shift, down arrow. I press F4. So that is the sum range. Actually, where we are getting our sum, isn't it? I press comma. Then I've been asked of criteria range 1. So criteria range 1 is the names. Because we are using these names, I come here. I press Control Shift, down arrow. I press F4, isn't it? Comma. So our criteria actually is here, isn't it? And I close the bracket because I'm not continuing. I do Control Enter. Actually, you can see it in negative, and maybe just come up here just to change it, and I put a negative in front of it, and you do Enter, isn't it? And you can do cash. You can do cash. Then I just drag. That's why I was looking at. Just drag that thing down there. Then I do Control C, copy. I come here. I do Control V. Actually, you see, these one are coming in negative, and we added. So we'll have to make a correction. We have to make a correction somewhere. Those ones there. So our total expenses are good, but our operating profit equals, so equal to this one. Shift plus will be adding. Isn't it? Control enter. Am I adding properly? Because it can't be a negative. So maybe it's about the collections. The collections. Let me see. Payroll expenses. Our payroll expenses have really gone up. Payroll expenses. Okay, our payroll expenses were really up. They were really up. All right, control home, control backspace. Oh, I didn't have the active cell. Actually, we shall come back. And so let's do it first the two, control C. Then I do control V, isn't it? You can see that it looks like we are making a loss. I'm making a loss, isn't it? So here I'll rub first because equals. So it will take this one, shift plus this one, shift plus this one because it's already in negative, control enter, isn't it? So you can see we have a negative of negative. I'll do Alt HB U just to make it look good, isn't it? Yeah, we have a negative of that one, but there's no problem. There's no problem. I should just do like I don't know how many have statement of financial position, control board, merge and center. As that you'll write the year at HMC to merge and center. So under our statement of financial position, we have assets, then we have non-current assets, control enter, control bolt. Like let me write them properly. NCA is it our non-current assets. So on non-current assets we have a PPE. I'll be going first because I already did this. PPE, and then we have intangibles, tangible assets. And you must be very careful that the spellings you enter here are the spellings you entered here. Like you see, I entered intangibles, so I'll do Control C. I'll not enter Control C. Then I come. I'll not enter intangible asset. I just entered intangible. Control V, so that you don't confuse. Then we had something called deferred tax. Shift deferred, shift tax, shift asset. I think it was assets or assets. Okay, deferred tax asset. And we finished that one. So we go to current assets, control enter bolt. So under current asset, we had, I think we had cash. And we also had inventory. We also had account receivables. And we also had other receivables. Let me check how I wrote the other receivables so that I don't confuse. Here it is, other receivables, control C. Then I come back. Where is it here? Control V. And I think we don't have anything, so it would be like total assets, then equity and liability. Then we start with the, let me say, the non-current liability NCL. I do control bolt. Then so our NCL, we had our leases. Actually, you remember our leases tab, and I don't think we have another one. So we do control bolt. Then our current liabilities, isn't it? Our current liabilities had our accounts payable tab. We had other liabilities also. We had other liabilities. Let me just take the correct thing here. Control C. Then I come back. I do control V. And What else? I think if you remember, we have like 10 minutes. We also had related parties. Related parties. I don't know if I wrote parties or party. Related parties. And I just want to be a little bit faster. Let me see. Where is it? Yes, I wrote related parties. So, and I think, so we come to our control home. We come to our equity, isn't it? So our equity, we have a share capital. I think I wrote that one. Share capital and tab, and we also have retained earnings. Control enter, isn't it? So I shall just come directly and I show you how we use Sumifs also here. So I'll do this, don't worry. And I select the whole thing. I do Alt-H, BN to remove the borders. So I shall start with the PPE equals. I do Sumif now, Sumif, not Sumif, Sumif. I press tab. Sum range now for the statement of financial position, we use the net closing balance. I come here, I do Control Shift down arrow. I press F4 to lock that. I do comma. So criteria range 1 is the class that we created actually. The class that we created here. I press Control Shift down arrow. I press F4, press comma. And the range, so the range is here, the opposite that we'll be doing. I do close my brackets, I press enter. Okay, then I drag them down. Isn't it? All right. I do Control C. I come here, cash. You see inventories. Our inventories are 0. Why? So you can just come back. You can see we had inventory somewhere. Maybe the spellings are not correct. You see, we written inventory, but our inventory, you can see there is nothing. So it will just be that way. So I'll take this last one, Control C, then I do here, Control V. Actually, so this one is where I introduce a negative in front, negative, Control Enter. Also, I do Control C, I do Control V, and I drag it down up to there. Then I do Control C, I do Control V. Here there is no value because there is nothing, isn't it? Yeah. So like this one will be our total, isn't it? So and you find that here we let me add first. Let me add first. Actually, our total assets here equals you will. I'm going a little bit faster, but you have to add the current assets and the non-current. But I'll just add the whole thing together this way. Control Enter, Control Bolt, Alt HBU, isn't it? And I also check this one. These ones also. These ones here equals sum tab. Then I add from here, actually from here, from these ones. Control Enter, Control Bolt. You can see that this one is upper by this one, but remember we kind of made a loss here, under retained earnings. So I come here under retained earnings. Then I come to the question here, up in the formulas bar. Then I can do Shift plus what was our PBT. Control Enter. You can see that it's balancing because we made a loss. Then I'll do Alt HBU, isn't it? And how I was taught, you do check tab equals this one equals this one. Control Enter. So actually, that's how we prepare the two things. They are very simple and it's a very similar concept. And for today, I'll stop from there. But tomorrow we shall continue. This one is a simpler one, and this one will not use Sumifs. Now here we've used Sumifs. Sumifs is if the criteria are many. Sumifs if the criteria is one. So like I don't know when, on Thursday. Actually, you can, or you can text me on WhatsApp and you tell me maybe any topic that you want me to repeat. And also, as I said earlier, that the last Friday's class, was it on Thursday? The Thursday's class, we will also repeat the whole thing. I think we'll do the next. The next one will start from here. Then we go back and repeat. We go back and repeat the last class because it had some challenges. Okay, thank you for today. Hope you learned something new. And because today is on Sunday, I'll just send this over. I'll send this over halfway. I'm sending just now. I'll send halfway, but I said we shall continue from here. Okay, thank you for today. See you in the next class.